Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Heel Team 6 Wrestling is proud to present the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Bodega Wrestling Podcast. I am your host or co-host, the Puerto Rican muffin Jorge Luis Martinez Jr. And I'm here with two panelists today who are going to help me go through the week of wrestling like we always do. So sit back and enjoy the ride, ladies and gentlemen. First, from the hills of the Carolinas comes the man that has 127 different podcasts, and you know him as one half of the S&M podcast. Please, sir, introduce yourself.
My name is Michael Larkin, and I'm happy to be back on this show, as always, doing our thing. What's up, Jorge?
What's going on, Mr. Larkin? How are you tonight?
I'm good. Ready to talk about the week in wrestling. Lots been going on. Gonna have some fun.
All right. And straight from the... Well, she's actually happy today, so she's in a good mood. From the lagoons of Louisiana, she got her 8x10 of her man Jay White with a little message that said, "I'll stab you for Valentine's Day." Please introduce yourself.
What the hell? My name is Courtney, and I'm sitting here wondering what the hell, man.
About what?
He's a switchblade. He'll stab you for Valentine's.
Yeah, he'll stab you for Valentine's.
Get played.
Yes.
Oh!
Like, really? We get it. Lark can get it, but you don't get it. That's supposed to be your boyfriend. But anyway,
Y'all messed up for that.
Well, anyway, we'll let Switch Babe figure that one out. So right now, let's start with the biggest news coming out of New Japan Wrestling, and that is Mr. Switchblade himself, Jay White, becoming the new IWGP Japanese Heavyweight Champion of the world, or at least the Heavyweight Champion of Japan. Which is no surprise to anyone here. I'm just surprised that it happened in February, not even a month after Tanahashi defeated Omega for the title. So I thought that was a kind of a quick title switch. I was more expecting it to happen at the G1 special on a WrestleMania weekend here in New York. That wouldn't been more of a pop for the United States fans, but at least now we'll get him as the champion. And let me go with Switchblade first because this is her man. Switchblade, what do you think of your boy Jay White there becoming the new champion?
The pride that I have for him is immense. To see the evolution that he has had from even before he was a young lion. He didn't have to be a young lion, but he decided to work harder and to gain more respect from the New Japan office. Then he goes to Ring of Honor, and Ring of Honor was really where I started paying attention. Like, when he was a young lion, I would see his matches and I'd be like, okay, I'm going to keep an eye on this kid. And then in Ring of Honor is really where I got to see more of the charisma and more of him be himself. And I was like, okay, this kid is going to be a force to be reckoned with in a couple of years. And here we are a couple of years later, and he has won the IWGP heavyweight title. And I was just so proud. I'm not going to lie. I had a Kim K ugly cry. And it's just amazing. And, you know, to see the support that he has is good, but there are some detractors, and to the detractors who say he isn't ready, and to the detractors who say, you know, they should have kept it on Tana, or whatever the case may be, to quote Tama Tonga, who the fuck is you? Who are you to say what is right for another man's career or another man's path? So to that, I just say, congratulations, Jay. You earned this. And this was a redemption for him because he lost to Tana around the same time last year for the IC belt. in New Japan. And then this year to come full circle and do one better and win the IWGP Heavyweight title from Tana. It's a redemption story if you think about it from the right angle. And I love being a devil's advocate like that to show people that, hey, there's another side to this that you're not seeing. So just so immensely proud of him. Way to go, Jay. And I hope that they keep it on him so that I actually get to touch the actual belt in April.
Mr. Larkin.
Well, I gotta say, as someone who has been a fan of his since Ring of Honor, and then, you see him as a young lion in New Japan, and just to see his rise to the top, as the champ now, Hiroshi Tanahashi, as we like to call him on the Max Wrestling Podcast that I do with my homies in the UK, talk about Cenahashi, because he was always like the John Cena there. You always see Tanahashi at the top. Big fan of Tanahashi, but he's always up in there. Y'all gonna make me lose my mind, but I digress. So what's great about this is, Tanahashi is probably has the longest reign as the IWGP, I'm talking International Wrestling Grand Prix champion. But Jay White, I like it. I think he's cool. I think he's super talented, amazing competitor, great character. And, I think he's going to do well with the title. I really cannot wait to see, future matchups, his next defenses. And really, I'm very happy for Mr. Jay White. I think he's worked and he's put in the work. Then you have your Dave Meltzer, who's got that BCB. I'm talking about that Bullet Club boner. And, he's not happy. He's like, oh, it's too soon for him, or, he's not ready yet. Well, fuck off, Dave Meltzer, because he's mostly wrong anyway. So you're wrong. Let Jay White do his thing, and hey, congratulations. Go ahead, Jorge.
No, let me ask you guys a question here, and it doesn't matter who goes first. What do you guys think that Tanahashi wins the belt from Omega? And that was the big point. And we knew that Omega was going to lose the belt because he was going to leave New Japan once his contract was over. So we already knew that was going to happen. But don't you guys think that it's kind of weird that he only held it for 1 month? And then just pass it over to Jay White instead of maybe waiting till April at the actual G1 show here in the States, where this is going to be the biggest New Japan show ever in the States, and it would have happened here?
Ladies first on that. Go ahead, Courtney.
I think that if Omega had stayed, I think the belt was going to stay on Omega.
No question.
And Tana was not going to win it because Tana is so old at this point that honestly, like him with that belt and him like really having to work harder than he had in the past couple of years with the belt, the short time that he had it, you could see it rapidly degenerating his body. And I think that was just a temporary thing to kind of tide everything over until they could figure out what they were going to do. But I think the second that match was made, that it was clear that Jay was going over. Like I was about 90% certain that Jay was going to go over because it was going to hurt Jay a hell of a lot more than it's going to hurt the legendary Hiroshi Tanahashi for him to take that L. So I think that it was just a stopgap measure. Tanahashi's short title reign was just to get us over that hump until they figured out what they were going to do.
I think she pretty much nailed it there, but I think, if Omega was staying, he was going to keep the belt. Tanahashi wouldn't have won. I think Omega would be defending it at the Garden in New York. Mm-hmm. I would have liked to see, like you, Jorge, I understand, have Hiroshi hold it till the Garden show, but I mean, hey, get the Switchblade going in there. Jay White as the champ, I think it's great. Showcases the young talent and the amazing young talent that he is. Man, I'm just happy. You know what I'm saying? Hiroshi Tanahashi being the straight vet that he is. Like I said, I've watched that guy ever since his match with AJ Styles and TNA at the time in 06. So, I mean, dude's great. The whole thing with Jay White is great. It's very exciting times overall in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And to quote Tama, who the fuck is you if you got a problem? So, there you go.
Well, I'm really happy for Switchblade because now she gets to meet Jay White with the belt, so that's an added bonus on the top of the strawberry ice cream there for her, so that's a good thing. But we'll move to the next topic that we have here, and we actually will go to the Forbidden Land, which I don't like to talk about that, which is the Connecticut company WWE. And this past Monday night, we had the Revival finally win the tag team belts of Raw. Now, do you guys? I don't know about this. I mean, to be honest with you, why now? I mean, is it because of how they were complaining that they were going to leave? Is this just a move to make them happy in the meantime? Do you think they're actually going to put something behind them going forward, or this is just a little, let's give it to them, keep them happy, and then we'll see what happens later on?
I think personally, this was because maybe their contracts are coming up soon. Maybe. I'm not sure on that, but this is my thought. And I think Vince is trying to re sign people to double up contracts because he's going double or nothing now, apparently. And I think it was, let's put the belts on them, let's make them happy enough to get them to re sign, and then they're stuck with us. I mean, I think that that's what they're going to do with a lot of these talents that they know have the connection to the Bucks and have the connection to Cody. They're going to try to tie them over, get them to sign a new contract, and then once they sign that contract, that ink isn't going to even be dry before those titles are gone. So, I mean, that's my honest thought on it. Like, Vince is that much of a son of a bitch to do that.
I think for me, like I see the story how like they've been screwed the last times that they've been feuding with Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Foot's on the rope, but the ref hasn't been seeing it. So I guess the story is they won it clean, and it was a great match. It really was between the two teams. And I think the contract has to do with it as well. Keep them happy, and then watch. A lot of us are joking like, hey, watch, they lose it to the new makeshift team. Well, not makeshift, but they're reformed Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Because who else are they gonna fight with? Because, I mean, you look at Gable and Roode. I mean, the authors of pain, one of them's out right now with a shoulder injury. I mean, that tag division's kind of very thin on Raw. So, I mean, I like the Revival. I've liked them since their NXT run, feuding with the likes of Gable and Jordan, wrestling so many great talents like the Vaudevillains when Aiden English and Simon Gotch were a team. I mean, and the Lucha Dragons as well. But I mean, I was such a fan of theirs because I got that old school, Minnesota wrecking crew, the whole Ole and Arn Anderson, Arn and Tully, the Brainbusters, what have you. So I'm happy to see them finally get their shine with those tag titles. But yes, I think the contract had a little bit to do with it. I think they were just progressing with the storyline as well.
Now, my next question is, and before we go to the next question, you mentioned the Lucha House Brothers or whatever they call the Lucha House Party.
Lucha House Party, yeah.
And I love when Elias had the one guy sit, we're going to do a duet. And he grabs the guitar and just dropped him in the back of the head. I thought that was one of the funniest segments I had seen in a long time. I was dying laughing when I saw that. But
personally, I thought,
go ahead.
I was going to say it was funny, and I think with me is because I think the Jeff Jarrett thing bombed because I just did the one match and everybody, them just singing "With My Baby Tonight" from '95 every week. It kind of bombed, so they just were doing something with Elias. We hit him with a guitar. He's a heel now, but let's see what happens with Elias.
Yeah, I thought it was funny as hell. But my next question that I wanted to ask you guys, and I can't believe I'm even going to mention this here. We have the other news from there is that Ronda Rousey with Becky Lynch WrestleMania, and then you hear all the rumors or everything. They're gonna make it into a 3-woman match. Everybody's going like, no, you shouldn't. Now you take Lynch out, and now you insert Charlotte Flair, and we all know that later on towards WrestleMania, they're gonna add Lynch back into the fold. My question is to you both, for you guys, is who got cold feet, and why did they decide to change this from a 2-woman match to a 3-woman match, which it'll probably be end up like that?
I think it's the Vince McMahon thing, man. I mean, you saw the whole thing where he's out there on Raw saying, no, Becky, I'm the man. And it's pretty much similar to what we had with Daniel Bryan in 2014 going into WrestleMania 30. I mean, I think that match is going to main event because, first time ever women's main event of WrestleMania. I like the 3-way, but personally, I would have rather seen Asuka versus Charlotte have the rematch from last year and have Asuka beat her this time. But, I mean, putting Charlotte in there just adds to screwing to Becky because, again, Becky is the Daniel Bryan this year in 2019. So I'm looking forward to the matchup as a 3-way itself, but in a way I really wish that it was Ronda and Becky because we were supposed to get that last year's Survivor Series. But, it's just more progression to the storyline. And, I mean, I think it was a Vince McMahon thing. I think Vince has liked Charlotte Flair, and I think what you saw on TV is kind of what you get in reality with real life. Vince McMahon. But that's really what I could say. I think it's just more progression. Go ahead, Courtney.
I think that Charlotte is only put in there to eat a submission from Becky Lynch, because if you think about it, they want to protect Ronda, right? Mm-hmm. They want to protect Becky, right?
Yeah.
So Charlotte is such a force on her own in WWE with all the title wins that she's had and everything else, that's not necessarily going to hurt Charlotte. So what is the best way to protect Becky and Ronda, who you see as your golden goose? You put Charlotte in, have her eat the pin or the submission, and have Becky go over. And what Mike just said is correct, that Becky is this year's Daniel Bryan, like from WrestleMania 30, that she wasn't necessarily part of the plans, but the fans made her part of the plans. And for them to not go with her and not go with what I just said would be tantamount to committing suicide, business-wise, because you have a girl who is making you so much freaking money. The merch that they have released on her, like they release a new Becky Lynch shirt every freaking week now. It's ridiculous. So they are making money off of her. And if you want to keep making that money, Vince, you better have her go over, or you're going to have a riot on your hands. You thought last year was bad with Lesnar and Reigns? Just you wait. So I'm totally confident in that Charlotte is just put in there just to eat a disarm.
Okay.
That's her purpose.
I'll just add to that really quickly. I agree with what Courtney has to say there. And I think so Ronda doesn't get booed like she's been getting booed. It protects Ronda as well. So she doesn't have to eat the pin, or like you mentioned, disarm. So Charlotte takes it. It's kind of like the equivalent with Daniel Bryan, Randy Orton, and Batista. Randy Orton was the champ going into that, but Batista was the one who tapped out in the match. So there's a lot of similarities there.
Okay. So I got one more WWE issue or topic before I pass out from all the Connecticut questions. But we've seen recently that the dead man himself, the Undertaker, is actually going to be attending StarCast 2019, or StarCast number 2 here at the Double or Nothing. What do you guys think about Undertaker actually doing a non-WWE appearance for the first time ever?
Hey, man, it's just the money thing, making appearances. And I think we said it last week, I definitely see him. If it's not The Rock, I would love to see Undertaker as the main draw for this year's Hall of Fame. So I think it's just the money thing, man. Get that money, man. Get that money, man. Dollar bill, y'all.
Sting has already been announced for it. And now everybody on their net's going gaga, and they're like, could we finally see Sting versus Taker? I'm like, everybody, slow your freaking roll. Take a chill pill. This is just a convention appearance. This is not him in any way endorsing AEW or anything like that. This is just Taker trying to make that money. And what they're charging for an appearance for him is a lot.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm talking like 20 G's plus. So just people need to relax, and good on Taker for wanting to go out there and get to know his fans more, because his character limited his fan interaction a lot. So good for him, and make that money, Taker.
Yeah, you guys are right, since he's supposed to be dead for the last 25 years. Yeah, there's not much fan interaction there when you're dead. So yeah, that makes sense. All right, so let's move on to the next topic. Thank God we're going to move away from WWE. But we're moving on to my favorite company, Impact Wrestling. Yay. Today, tomorrow, and Sunday are their tapings from Las Vegas. And that should be kind of interesting. Tonight is the last episode from the Mexico tapings, when they have what's it called? The thing Uncaged?
Uncaged, yes.
Uncaged tonight.
Yeah, Uncaged.
And then I'm guessing it's going to be at least 6 shows from the Vegas. But there was an interesting thing that came up this week. Mr. Uncle Meltzer once again stepping up with numbers from Pursuit which this man knows everybody. You know, if he's able to go into pursuit and get the numbers, saying that there were between 12 to 15,000 viewers, but then somebody, I want to say Mike Johnson, I believe.
Yes, Mike Johnson said he was wrong.
Probably a PW insider came out and just said, like, oh, hold up. How can you get numbers when there's no actual numbers even available for you to get? Like, where are you getting these things from? And he basically, just like you mentioned, just kind of called them out. And I haven't seen Meltzer say anything yet. So what do you guys believe is the truth and what's not the truth, please?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, ladies first.
My thoughts are this. Dave Meltzer's credibility has been circling the drain for the past couple of years. In particular, he has gotten so much wrong, and whenever he gets it wrong, it's the go-to de facto default answer of plans changed. Bullshit. You never knew what was going on to begin with, Dave. And the fact that Pursuit doesn't even have a box to be able to read those numbers tells me that he's full of shit, because he doesn't know anything. And people just need to stop putting so much stock into what Dave Meltzer says and stop treating him like he's a god, because his journalistic integrity and credibility are basically nil these days.
Switchblade, tell us how you really feel.
Yes.
Please continue. Tell us how you really feel.
I'm sorry. Just Dave Meltzer the past couple of years, just with people pay this guy money to hear what they think is going to be news. And it's just basically conjecture and prognostication and bullshit. And it infuriates me, to be honest. The fact that, people are just willing to pay somebody just for bullshit, And he's been proven wrong so many times, and this is the time where he's getting proven wrong again. And it's just like, wake the fuck up, people. He ain't God.
Mr. Larkin?
So with Mike Johnson, like he didn't call out Meltzer by name, but he just said there have been reports that, have been this, but it's wrong, and they haven't heard anything. But Mike Johnson said that he's even said it, like they have to get off that network. Because personally, I think a lot of us, even though, we get to see it on Twitch, and Impact's very behind. If you have the internet, you have it, which is great. It's very accessible. Like I watched Twitch the other night of it, and I'll be honest with you, the highest peak I saw them get was 7,000, then it went back and fluctuated between 5,000 6,000 on Twitch. It's a shitty time slot for it, Friday at 10 p.m. on a Friday night. It's the death slot, you know what I'm saying? And now to make up for that, so you don't see those GWN flashbacks that everybody complains about, because why should we harp on history? It's only like history of the company, only been around since 2002, whatever. But anyway, people like to bitch, but I digress. We see Josh and Don. Don is from Japan. Josh is just sitting there, doing his thing, looking all like, oh, yeah, we're on Impact. I'm waiting for my cue. Woo! And doing his thing there just in between commercials, and it's just like, meh. And then you go back to the action, and solid action from bell to bell. But I'm just like, with this whole Pursuit thing, I think it's best that we don't know, you know what I'm saying? With Twitch, you're accessible to it, but still, those numbers haven't been swell either. So at least they have like an ulterior or an alternative, so to speak, to have the outlet for them to watch the show, that being Twitch on Fridays at 10 p.m. But still, all in all, I think it's suckety sucks. Go ahead, Jorge.
Alexa, lights dim 20%. No, it didn't work here. Yeah, that's all I saw from my Twitch feed last week, from watching two guys talk about wrestling for the first minute of every commercial, and then just go out into a space zone, talk about nonsense that made no sense whatsoever. What they were talking about.
Yeah, well, Jorge, Jimmy Jacobs come in, with the shirt off, and him and Don Callis are going to go do laps like they're having a bromance. Last chance for a bromance. Flip the script on that Donna Summer track. You know what I'm saying? And they're just doing their thing there. I mean, it's just as weird, those commercial breaks. Courtney, would you like to comment on those commercial breaks that we see on Impact on Twitch, baby?
Oh, jeez. I know what you want me to say, Mike. What you want me to say, Mike?
I don't know what you're talking about. Go ahead. What do you have to say?
Those commercial breaks, I'm sorry, they're so just cringe. Like, for me, it's just so cringeworthy, because, like, you see Josh, and he's there with his cell phone right there, and he's like, okay, we got 30 seconds, and it's like, and it doesn't, it just doesn't feel that professional. And then Josh looks like, honestly, like he is on the internet and he is looking for cam girls to hang out with. I'm sorry, it just looks like I get creeper vibes like no other. And the thing with like Jimmy and Don and all that crap, it's just like hot mess. Hot mess. He's still in Laurel Van Ness's gimmick. It's a hot mess.
Well, you know, I'm taking my wife to the airport in another hour, so you know she's sleeping right now. So we can keep talking about it now, you know. So but the thing was, and I think somebody, I don't know if it was Larkin or somebody had mentioned that they should maybe let's switch it up, have some knockouts, hang out together, watch the things, and go over the action every commercial. Have something live. I mean, I understand people like the stuff behind the scenes, but this stuff is too much behind the scenes. Half of the stuff doesn't make sense. What they're talking about, what stories they're talking about. Dude, like this one dude looks drunk, other one dude looks like he's just bored out of his mind talking to his dog or cat or talking to Alexa every 5 minutes. I'm glad they took away the GWF flashback, but now do something about this here. Put some live people in there.
All right, I'll add just one other thing to this for you. So with the GWM, what they do now is they take a vote on what you want the GWM flashback to be. They'll give you 3 options, and then you'll see a GWM flashback. So the other thing I could mention, that you mentioned, like they look bored, and you talk about like maybe knockouts, interactions, or superstars. And the only thing that you really see from that is like, oh, Eddie Edwards is in the chat. Oh, Rosemary's in the chat with us. Oh, Alicia's in the chat with us. So-and-so's in the chat.
So let them talk if they're in the chat. Let them talk.
Exactly, but that's what they don't do. They just say, oh, who's in the chat or who followed us? I'm a mark for life, just subscribe. Whatever they say. It is what it is.
Yeah. Well, anyways, let's move on to the next topic, which is everybody's favorite non-existing company, the best t-shirt company there is, AEW. And they had just announced that their Double or Nothing show has been sold out in 5 minutes or less. And I was surprised. I wasn't surprised that it was sold out. I was surprised of how fast the general public tickets sold out. But what do you guys think about the selling out? Any surprises that it sold out that fast? Any excitement?
No, I mean, personally, it's their first show. It's like an all-in type of deal. I think it's cool. Now, Cody, I wanted to actually mention this. So Cody, we don't know who his opponent is. Personally, for me, you know who I'd love to see his opponent beat, Jorge?
Who's that?
The man who is no longer in WWE. I'm talking about Hideo Itami, the former Kenta.
Why?
Okay, well, first and foremost, there's a lot of Japan ties in there. And also, I think it'd be very good because also, Kenta, and he knows Neville Pac. I mean, there's a lot of tie-ins there. I think that'd be cool. If Kenta or Hideo Itami doesn't go back to pro wrestling, no, I think that'd be interesting. I mean, you got Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Kylie Ray, triple threat. You got SoCal Uncensored against Seema and others. You got Hangman Page and Pac. You got Omega Jericho. There's a lot of possibilities with this, man. But yeah, I think Kenta would be a nice surprise. That'd be an interesting matchup. Throw some Japanese flavor into there. Why? Who do you want to see Cody's opponent be, Jorge?
Actually, I didn't even know he was gonna even be wrestling.
Okay,
I thought he was. No. I thought he was just gonna be like maybe, being the first show. He was gonna oversee everything going on and then jump in. But I mean, I don't see anything out. I don't see anybody out there that he could wrestle.
You mean like his daddy used to do, like Dusty being behind the scenes and then jump in?
Well, actually, Dusty was different because Dusty will actually do the booking and then he'll throw himself in the main events.
Yeah.
So
he's got the Rhodes flavor in him, man. The American Dream. Dustin Rhodes.
But that's how actually killed a lot of the NWA WCW days.
Exactly. It's true. Very true.
I'm just saying. And the reason why I say this, and I'm glad you said that, because I just saw an interview last night with Barry Windham. And Barry Windham, from the time that Dusty Rhodes was doing the polka dot thing up in WWE, and then Flair was leaving, he became the booker for 6 months before Dusty came back. And even the guy asked him, like, you were the booker? He said, yeah, I became the booker for 6 months. That's why you never saw me wrestle any matches for 6 months or any high profile matches. All my stuff that I did was low, and I will eat the pin because I thought that was better for business. And I was like, wow. And once Dusty came back, I couldn't say much because that was his job now. I did what I was supposed to do, and I thought that not being included into the matches was better on a professional level. So I'm thinking that was what Dustin or Cody will do for this one. Honestly, I don't see him. I don't see anybody as a match for him, to be honest with you. Like, I don't see anybody out there unless somebody from Japan comes down for a match. I mean, I don't see any American free agent here that could wrestle him on the one-on-one match, and it'll be something that's special to see. I mean, I'm being honest. I don't know unless I'm forgetting somebody.
Well, what do you think about my idea of a Cody versus Kenta Switchblade?
It really depends on if Noah is going to let talent, or not Noah. Is it Noah?
Noah, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he's going back to Noah for sure. You know, him and Marufuji have a history, and Marufuji's getting older, you know, and we need to, you know, kind of have a resolution for that feud. So I think it's going to depend on if Noah allows talent to work in the AEW event. Now, the idea that I have, and him saying it's personal, okay? What nobody is thinking about is him versus his brother.
Wow.
What if it's him versus Dustin Rhodes, his brother? And that event, that type of match is like a dream match, and we'll finally be able to get to see it where Dustin can fully be maybe a little bit more than Goldust in the ring. He can, you know, show off the technical prowess that he does indeed have. And it's not just a slapstick act, you know, he does have talent. So for him to say personal, that makes me think we're in for the shock of our lives, and it's going to be Dustin Rhodes, aka Goldust, aka all the other names he's had. So that's my thought.
You know something? I don't like it. But I feel 100% after you said that is going to happen. That will be the match, even though I don't like it. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, I will say this: I really wish it would have been a WrestleMania match, but it wasn't. The only time they ever wrestled each other on pay-per-view, Goldust and Cody, was when Goldust fought Stardust at one of those Fastlane pay-per-views. So it has happened before, but, you know, they were limited under the WWE umbrella. Yes. So if they do it here, you know, give them some time and let them go.
And now, one more question that's attached to Double or Nothing here. Did anybody see the prices of the packages, the VIPs? I knew he was
gonna go here. Go ahead, Jorge.
I'm just saying, bro. I'll be the first one, and I'm an Impact lover since day one. And there were some times I'm like, damn, this VIP package is kind of ridiculous pricey. After I saw the AEW VIP packages prices, and there were two different tiers. There was the one that you can actually stay in the hotel of the MGM, and they will give you like front row seats to the show, compared to the VIP packages of you sitting in the front row or the first 4, and then the next 5 rows, then the next 5 after that. So it's like the first 15 rows, and not even meeting anyone. These price ranges were over $250 to $500, and you're not even meeting anybody unless you were buying the $500 to $1,500 packages if you were staying for 2 nights at the hotel for 1 night event. After I saw that, I told myself I will never, ever complain about the Impact VIP packages, because I'm paying $199 or $250. I'm getting 2 nights of tapings, or sometimes 3 of the pay-per-view. I'm getting shows. I'm getting activities with the wrestlers. I'm getting to meet 3 to 5 wrestlers every night after to take pictures. And I complain about those prices. After I saw AEW, I told myself I will never complain about Impact prices ever again. Did anybody see the prices? That's my question.
I saw the prices.
What did you think about the prices?
For me, it's just like, this is the entertainment industry. This is how it works. Like, for me to meet Marilyn Manson, it was in August. I had to pay $450.
Whew.
So
well, hold on. I'm sorry, hold on. You cannot compare Marilyn Manson to wrestling. I mean, that's Marilyn Manson, though.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that VIP perks and stuff like that come at a premium, and it's just the way that the entertainment industry is, and it may be cold-blooded, but that's just how it is. And then, speaking of cold-blooded, then you have the people online who are scalping the tickets for G's,
yes,
for major G's, like 25 times the cost. So it's like, it could always be worse. It could always be like they're charging you an astronomical something. And like you said, Impact VIP tapings, those are a bargain. Like, I think Impact is actually lowballing it. Like, Impact could easily charge $250, $300 for that entire, like, weekend pass that they do, the VIP thing.
Yep.
They could easily do $100 a night, but they're lowballing it. So for them to want to make a profit, they're going to have to make a profit, and they're not going to be able to just charge bare minimum.
Well, you know? And before you jump in, Larkin, I wanted to add what you just said right now. I saw some guy a guy who bought 5 tickets, general admission, $68. He was selling for $350 each.
Yep.
And he had put that on Twitter, and everybody going like, "Dude, are you insane?" And the problem is, 2 things that you mentioned before. One, people are gonna buy it, and 2, you asked the question about that the talent should do something about it. Honestly, like you said right now, they don't care. The talent doesn't care because why? They're making that money. It's already sold out. There could be 15 people sitting on the floors, and it's supposed to be sold out. Hey, it's sold out. That's out of our hands. We can't do anything about the scalpers. You know, back in the days, you had to go outside the venue to sell stuff. Now you could do this stuff online. Do they think do you really think they care that the tickets are being scalped? It's money, like you said. The money's in their pocket, so they shouldn't care about anything else.
I think that they do care. They do care that some fans are being disenfranchised, you know, based upon like how much money they make. I think that they do care. I just think, and I think that if nobody showed up, it would be a disaster, because visually you want that crowd filled up. You want it filled with screaming wrestling fans having a blast. And if nobody shows up because a shit ton of people scalp tickets and nobody could afford them, that's going to be a disaster. So I think that
to who though? To who? To who said a disaster? To who said a disaster though?
It's a disaster to the PR of the company.
No, because because they got their money. They got paid. So how is it a disaster? They got their money. Everything is sold out. It's sold out.
I understand that it's a technical sellout, but if you have nobody in the crowd, then and you're performing to nobody, then what the hell are you putting on a show for? Well, and claiming it's sold out? You can't.
All of us have been to indie shows, and some of them got 50 people in there, and they're wrestling. What's the difference now?
Because you have this huge ass arena they have to fill. That's why, and it's going to be and it would be totally empty. Like, this is something that is comparing apples to oranges. Like, do you know that the amount of pictures that get shared of crowd sizes and how heavily WWE is criticized for it? Do you know if they showed a picture of Double or Nothing and it wasn't filled in the future, do you know Twitter would be all over that, and it would be just, oh my God, AEW is a failure. AEW is a failure. They claim to sell out. And then they're going to have the people that are going to say, oh, well, then the company itself bought all those tickets and tried to jack up the prices.
But what was the first thing they did when they sold out? Double or Nothing is sold out. They were the first ones that put it out there. It wasn't the fans who put it out there. The company did, which means they sold out. Larkin?
I know, but to me...
Larkin, say something.
Comic. All right. Sorry. Well, I mean, you guys are making good points. Top down screaming out money ain't a thing. It's all about the money.
It's all about the money, baby. Benjamins.
All about the Benjamins, baby. Courtney's talking about cold-blooded, channeling inner Rick James bitch. So, you see a lot of different points here. You see a lot of different points here. And I understand it from what both of you guys are saying. I saw those prices, and it is what it is. I think it's just all business at the end of the day. That's really all I could say about that. Y'all did your thing there. I can't follow that.
Go ahead, Courtney.
I'm just saying, it would be visually a nightmare. If you think about it, if you think that you built this up to, we're gonna have almost 20,000 screaming fans, and then you have, say, maybe just 10K show up. Do you know how much of a fool that makes you look like? Even though, yeah, you made the money. Yeah, you sold those tickets. Yeah, but did you have an ass in the seat? No.
Now, do you think there's a way in the future where they could actually battle the scalper issues, or do you think there's not because of how it is now with everything digital, social media driven?
I have a solution, and it's what they did with Manson. With Manson tickets, you have to present your ID at the box office. You have to verify that it's you. You have to sign your name for the ticket. And if for some reason, you can't make it, you have to sell it to someone else, and they have to present your ID, a copy front and back of your driver's license, in order to buy it.
Wow.
Now, I don't think that all these scalpers are going to want to be giving out their personal ID and personal information, just to anybody, just any Tom, Dick, or Harry. So that's going to cut down on it a lot if we make it to where you have to present an ID and it has to match the name on the tickets. If you're with the person, say an adult buys for a family of 5.
Now, if you don't mind me asking,
has to be present.
If you don't mind me asking, what did you saw Manson at?
I saw Manson in Houston, and it was actually the concert that he got sick at. He was already sick earlier in the day, and I could tell when I met him, but he was still, a sweetheart and a gentleman. He put us all into it for us. Kept meeting people. There was 100 plus that had to meet him that day, and he ended up almost passing out on stage from heat exhaustion.
Wow.
It was 120 heat index outside too, and the man already had food poisoning. But I was happy I got to meet him and got to hang out on the tour bus and.
Well, I actually saw him in concert, him and Rob Zombie together. That was amazing. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here, man.
Okay, I thought something happened. Yeah, so any other topics that anybody has?
Oh, I think you know.
Just to bring up the fact that the local hero Joe Hendry is no longer with
God, yes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we forgot about this one. This just happened earlier. What was his name again? What was his name? Something Hendry.
Local hero, Prestige Joe Hendry.
Yeah, the prestigious one, Joe Hendry. I guess is no longer with Impact Wrestling. Now, did he ask for a release? Was it
Well, what happened is first his visa got messed up.
Yep, since last for a while.
He had to go home, and then I think what happened is just Impact lost interest, maybe, or the relationship soured, and now he's just doing his own thing with his YouTube channel and talking about how he's a free agent and whatnot. And I think it is a huge loss to Impact because Joe Hendry has charisma out the butt. He's got the singing thing that he does, where he makes a new entrance video every week. That could have been freaking huge for Impact. And the fact that they managed to let this one go, I'm like, you made a mistake, Impact. You kind of made a mistake here.
Well, to go against Switchblade is no loss for Impact. Trust me, he wasn't anything special. I'm glad him and Grado are gone. They didn't bring anything to the table, anyways. Just because they're British and they have a nice accent and they come to the ring with a great poupon doesn't mean that they can wrestle any differently. Larkin, Larkin,
Whoa, that's taking a little too.
Larkin,
wow, okay. Great poupon.
great poupon, Larkin. What else? Anything?
Yes.
Oh, snap.
God damn you, man. So anyway.
See, I have to get out because Chef's not here. If Chef was here, well, it would have been done.
Hey, man. So anyway, well, he did put on his Twitter that he's now a free agent. He thanked Impact for the opportunity. I mean, we've seen this guy in a little company with the initials ICW.
Oh, Lord.
You know I gotta go there, man. He's in ICW doing this thing, with such songs as, he mixed Eiffel 65 with with Drew Galloway at the time, where I'm talking about, Boom Boom Boom, Jack Jester's in my room off the Venga Boys, Boom Boom Boom. Dude is just funny. He's done a lot of great entrances at the Fear and Loathings, and just to see it in Impact, I was very happy to see him. We did this thing with Eli Drake, him and Grado, the Access Denied and Platonic Love, and, with the whole Eli Drake, If I Could Be in the Cult of Lee. Just a lot of fun stuff, but visa issues. And personally, he's a guy like, even if he's doing his own thing, either he goes to ICW, I think he'd be a perfect fit for NXT UK. They just got Walter for NXT UK, a lot of talented competitors there from ICW and Progress, respectively. The dude is just another one that'll just do fine on his own. He's betting on himself. I think it's a safe bet that he's going to do his thing.
And yeah, sure. Larkin. Please tell us where anybody can follow you on your social medias.
All right, you can check me out at SM Show 1 at MCL92 on Twitter. Simple find. SoundCloud's MC Larkin92. The website is www.steveandmikeshow.com. I'm a simple man. We talk about wrestling. We talk about pop culture. We have a lot of fun shows. I'll interview people in wrestling, music, and yes, even the adult entertainment industry. I'm a complex fellow, giving opportunities to people to tell their stories. I get to work with y'all. Y'all, too, will be on my show in the near future. So, I'm happy, man. I'm a simple cat.
Switch Babe.
My social media is Switch X Queen, and it's for Instagram and Twitter. That's really all I do. I don't really mess around with Facebook too much anymore. So that's where you can find me. And also, I'm on the Linecast pod for Pro Wrestling Torch. It's for their VIP service. If you're a member of that, then go ahead and listen.
Somebody's moving up in the world.
Which congratulations to you on that, Miss Cody.
Switch Babe, yes.
Thank you, guys. I took the opportunity because, like I've told Mike, if there was a way for me to marry a wrestling company, I would marry New Japan. So for me to be given a weekly podcast where I can talk nothing but New Japan, I am a very, very, very happy girl.
Now, how long they give you for that? Like an hour?
Well, actually, the past week we had to recap like 3 shows. Okay, then we had to talk about like what we thought about Jay's win and everything. So it took legitimately 3 hours for us to cover everything.
So basically, 2 hours 58 minutes of Jay White and then 2 minutes of the other show.
That's horrible.
That's 2 hours of the Switchblade Jay White, and we're gonna give 30 seconds to the other stuff.
By the way, so pretty much what Jorge is saying, it's all love. It's all love, Jorge. So
yeah.
I know it's all love. I know y'all are messing around with me. Trust me, I grew up with male cousins who messed with me like no other. So sometimes I'll mess back, and they won't know that I'm messing back, and they're like, "Oh crap, we really hurt her feelings." But I'm like, no, I got a thick skin, dude. I was like DDTing my male cousins on the trampoline as a little girl.
Oh my God.
She's breaking necks already. She's breaking necks.
So pretty much what you're saying is that show is 2 hours and 58 or 59 minutes of
Jay White. Yeah, exactly.
And then, by the way, just to count it down, Okada did a thing. Thank you for listening.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's basically like if I had my way, it would be 2 minutes and 58 seconds, 2 hours and 58 minutes of Jay White. Nothing but Jay White love and Tama Tonga love, because I love Tama too. Tama has my heart.
Oh Lord! And 30 seconds of Killer Cross.
Yeah, and then I could talk about how Killer Cross needs to be in New Japan right freaking now for hours.
Well, we don't have time for that. We don't have time for that tonight, so maybe next show.
Yeah, and then 30 seconds of how Okada's thighs look nice.
Oh Lord!
And there you go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am the quintessential Puerto Rican muffin, and you can follow us, or you can follow us. Me, it's Bodega Wrestling on Twitter. That's where all the magic happens, all the wrestling talk. Please leave us a comment. We will comment back. Leave us nasty messages too, and we'll get you back with some nasty messages too. You know, we don't discriminate. So for myself, Mr. Larkin, Miss Switchblade down in Louisiana, the paper is rumbled. And that's it for tonight's show, and we will see you again next week, folks. Thank you so much, and have yourself a nice weekend.